So no matter what your skill set, we learn technical expertise versus creative mastery. You might want to experiment because you have enough expertise now to be able to adapt and adjust that you can play with the rules. We've talked about value, we've talked about purpose, but we haven't spent a whole lot of time around mastery. And mastery is probably my favorite subject, although value and purpose are probably really high up there too. But I love the idea of mastery. I love the idea of excellence. And what I really, really honor and value about mastery specifically is the individual opportunity that you have to create mastery for yourself, which generates great value for the world. When you have a purposeful focus for your trajectory and growth around mastery, we then end up with higher and greater value propositions for the world at large. So a master in the art of living draws no sharp distinction between his work and his play. I really want to sit in that between his work and his play, her work and her play, as the case may be. And what I want to invite us to explore is a concept that I want to share with you around the idea of technical expertise versus creative mastery, and the nuance in those very specific phrases, if you will. When we start out in our career, whether it's a new career or whether it's something that we've been in for the last 30 years, it doesn't matter. When we start out in their career, we typically start out acquiring skills. So we learn how things are done. We learn to do things in accordance with best practices that are currently in place. And the reason that's so important is because it gives us a pathway forward to develop levels of technical expertise. So no matter what your skill set, whether it's in finance, law, consulting, business, entrepreneurship, whatever it is, we learn to be an expert at following existing formulas for success. In a sense, we learn to copy. And that is very important because that's what gives us the skills that we need. Much like when we're training for a black belt in martial arts, or when we're training to receive a license in our accounting practice, or when we get called to the bar, or when we get called, given the licensing to be a financial portfolio manager, for example, or even a coach, as in my case, or a veterinarian. So we have lots of different ways that we learn to become a technical expert. But here's the challenge that most of us face. At some point, our expertise has arrived at a level where more and more and more expertise in that technical arena is going to have diminishing returns. And here's why. That expertise, if we focus on becoming a technical expert only, that expertise ceases to be valuable in high impact ways. We do become an expert, certainly, but it doesn't necessarily help us create value. So what do I mean when I'm talking about creative mastery? Creative mastery means that you are engaging your creativity. What that means is, as you are going about your journey of developing your technical expertise, at some point, your expertise will actually benefit from some of your creative license, meaning you might want to experiment and do something differently because you have enough expertise now to be able to adapt and adjust. You have enough wisdom, enough experience, and enough understanding, and enough skill set that you can play with the rules. Not in an ethical or moral way that's going to cost you your licensing or your professional reputation, of course, but in ways where the value proposition can be greater because you can massage how it's done and how you've been taught to do it. You can massage the existing formula to better align with your natural way of creating value, your natural way of developing a process, your natural way of wanting to generate that outcome. And we all have different ways of doing that. So if we're stuck inside an existing paradigm, if we're stuck inside an existing formula, and we are not bringing in our creative energy to kind of break through the lines and play differently with our skills, we are unable to differentiate effectively, and we are limiting our ability to create exceptional value. So what I want to invite you to do, I want you to notice where you are doing things because you've been taught that way, or it's always been done that way, or you think it has to be that way in order to generate the value you want. And then I want you to think about, what if you were to do it differently? What if you could do it in your own way? If you could bring your own style to that technical expertise and massage it so that the experience of your technical expertise were more aligned with your individual creativity and style, and you bringing your art to your technician, if you will, you become an artist and a technician combined, because you are tapping into the creative ways that you would like to generate value. And when we do that in ways that highlight and amplify the value that we want to create, we then tap into our ability to become what I have coined a creative master. We tap into our mastery. And mastery only comes from leveraging our technical expertise and our skills and turning those into art. So that's my invitation for you. Where are you hesitant to be an artist in your craft?